what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rival Talk for Week 3 of the 2022 NFL season. And at least we had Week 1. We had a Super Bowl in Week 1, so that's all that matters. We can go 1-16 from here on out. And we had that one win against Russell, and now we can go get Bryce Young. So, as always, I'm your host, and I'm joined by Marcus. Congratulations on your victory.
Hey, yeah, the one time you said that it's actually true. Every other time is BS.
And I did say Niners by 20, so.
You did, but then you also texted me about a day later saying you were thinking about switching your pick. So I don't know how you go from a 20-point loss to wanting to pick the Seahawks, but I almost got you to switch, but you didn't do it. So
well, I think this year we're not doing any of that switch after the video type of thing this year. So
wow.
whatever you say in the video is set in stone. Is law.
All right.
So
fair enough.
Yep. All right, well, quick recap of our games that we picked last week. Marcus and I both got 2 points, so that puts him at 5, puts me at 7. He got his lock wrong, so we lose a point there. The Bengals over Cowboys. Cowboys won that game. Good old Cooper Rush coming back, leading them to a game-winning field goal.
My locks are just as good as they were last year so far.
Yeah,
so,
I think you're 1-1 right now, I believe, for the locks.
Oh.
So. Then I had the Rams over Falcons, which the Falcons almost broke their 28-3 curse. They were down 23 and almost came back, but just couldn't quite do it. So the Rams took that one, got me a point there. The Jags did upset the Colts.
Hello.
Yeah, so hit that one. So that's +2 for you. The Bears, unfortunately, did not upset the Packers. They weren't even close, so I got nothing there. Then the Vikings did not take down the Eagles, and I believe more people should believe me now about the Eagles after these first couple weeks.
Honestly, that was so stupid to me. I totally forgot about the Kirk Cousins Monday Night Football thing. That was a dumb pick.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good pick. Got you 0 points, so good in my book. Then Chargers Chiefs. Unfortunately, Justin Herbert decided to throw a pick 6 at the goal line, which totally changed the outcome of the game and then broke some ribs. So... so that got me 0. And then we both got our home team games right because, as I told Marcus, Niners by 20, and that's exactly what happened. So 2 points apiece for the week, which really isn't that great, but, it is what it is.
No, exactly.
All right, so heading into week 3, a couple bits of news. First off, Marcus, you want to share the biggest one probably?
I mean... Are you talking about what happened in the Niners game?
Well, I mean,
yes. Something else I'm missing.
Since I'm going to you for this, yeah.
Trey Lance, broken ankle, dislocated and broken, I guess. Out for the year, of course. I probably won't talk about it a whole lot in our summation of the game, just because. Oh my God,
the dogs don't seem happy about it either. So.
Yeah, they don't. They were Trey Lance fans. I've told a lot of people I was ready to basically almost punt this season just to keep him out there all 16 games and just roll with whatever worked or whatever didn't work in order to develop him. I was fully ready to be committed to that, even if it meant losing games. So, it was a gut punch for sure. But I also love Jimmy Garoppolo, and it looks really great that we brought him back right now, that's for sure. I know when the injury happened. Okay, that's enough.
Dogs don't sound happy that he's back.
Yeah, it's nice outside, and I wanted to open the door so I get some airflow in here, but they can't handle it because every time they see a squirrel or a leaf, they bark at it. So, door is shut, and yes, so obviously it's great that we signed Jimmy Garoppolo for us, that is, and once it happened, I know I texted the group that we're all in saying, you guys are in trouble now. Not that maybe you would have won that game, but we're definitely a better team in the exact present time with Garoppolo at quarterback. I was just ready to get the development going so I could possibly see a Jalen Hurts or a Josh Allen in the future when it comes to Trey Lance. But now that's pushed back another year. So there we go.
Yep. Well, we can call it Trey Lance's COVID year, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So, but that definitely is a bummer. Then we had Mike Evans versus Lattimore round 2 this past weekend.
Sure.
Which I don't blame Evans because he's sticking up for Brady. I don't get what Lattimore was doing going after Brady like that. But yeah, so I don't blame Evans at all. But he did get suspended a game. So congratulations to your fantasy team on that.
Yeah, on both. He's on 2 of my teams, so that's great.
That's rough. Then this week was just the week of comebacks, ridiculous, crazy comebacks. You had the Dolphins-Ravens game. The Dolphins were down 35-21 to start of the fourth, I believe. And then they just had a heck of a comeback. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle just went off. Tua went off too. Got to give him his due there.
Yeah, he put himself in the MVP race with that fourth quarter.
Yep, MVP after 2 weeks. Gotta love it.
Yeah,
I remember how that went a couple years ago with
Wilson.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, what's happened ever since? Anyways, the Jets, the most Browns loss ever. Browns being up by 2 scores with, a minute 40 left, and they somehow managed to lose that game. So that was impressive, actually.
And do you know, did Garrett Wilson have both of his touchdowns in that comeback, or did he have one earlier?
I think so. I think both were within that comeback, I think.
Yeah. Huh.
The Cardinals, unfortunately, they came back and beat the Raiders, which... By the way, speaking of the Cardinals, have you seen this whole story about this allegations that Murray got slapped in the face?
Yeah, and I saw the video, and it didn't look like he got slapped in the face. That is such a reach. Got such a Kyler Murray about this now. I'm just going to, anytime I want to make fun of something, they're a Kyler Murray, and he's being a huge Kyler Murray about this. It was just a guy that it happened to graze his face. It was,
and you can tell by the video he was just going for a high five or something, like pat him on the shoulder.
Of course he was. God,
seriously.
That's just ridiculous. And I didn't pay much mind to it just because I'm like, well, it's just Kyler being Kyler. He's out of control.
Yeah. And then, as I mentioned, almost Falcons pulling off that. That would have been something if they pulled that upset off. Come back from that, but didn't quite get it. And then last bit of news I got to get to because this made me very happy and fun to watch. The boos. Boy, if Seahawks fans were classless last week, then what are Denver fans this past week? The boos are raining down nonstop on Russell and the Broncos last week. So I'd like to know what Broncos fans are this week if we were classless last week. So
I must have missed that. What? Just because they were barely beating the Texans, or what?
Well, that and Russell Wilson at one point was like 6 of 22 for 40 yards and an interception.
Oh, what a shame.
So let Russ cook, right? And it even got to a point where now Denver fans are starting to learn this about Russell's clock management, how for years we would put up with him running it down to 0. It got to a point where the Denver fans started actually counting down the play clock when it got to 10. You could hear them chanting 10, 9, 8. It got to that point in the fourth quarter. So, yeah.
To help out their $45 million quarterback.
$48 million quarterback.
48. Oh, sorry. My bad.
So yeah, that even though they won the game, that whole relationship out there is not off to a great start. So
yeah, weird. Who could have seen it?
Yeah, color me shocked. So yeah, that's really all the news we've got this week. Then, so we'll get into a quick recap. And I say quick because there really is nothing much to talk about on my end here. I'll just say it went about as I expected, but. I don't want to take away credit from the Niners. Like, the Niners played a heck of a game. They're a really good team. It could have been a lot different game, though, if the Seahawks didn't make mistakes and shoot themselves in the foot. And I think you would agree with that, probably.
Yeah, the turning point of the game was clearly the idiotic running back pass.
Yeah, I like the creativeness. Like, I like kind of the idea behind that and the creativeness and all that. But that specific call needs to just be scrapped. But I like the idea. I like the creativeness. But yeah, let's not run that play again.
Yeah, I think it was kind of over at that point. At least it seemed like it was.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, then you had the boneheaded illegal man downfield on that really cool DK Metcalf flea flicker play, which was granted it didn't count, but that was a heck of a catch still.
Yes, it was.
And yeah, that and then sloppy tackling, still can't tackle. So the Seahawks. Like I said, I'm not taking any credit away from the Niners. The Niners are a really good football team. They played a great game, but the Seahawks, I feel like the score was a lot closer than it indicates, really. So. Oh,
God, yeah, for sure it was. Yeah. It didn't feel like a 20-point win, that's for sure. And maybe that's just all the years of pent-up nervousness playing the Seahawks talking, but I definitely thought it was a pretty close game.
Yeah, I remember with like 5 minutes left, and it was 20-7, but you clearly were dominating the game. You're like, we're going to lose this game. I was like, come on.
Yeah, I did say that. Like I said, I truly don't know if that's just me being with the pent-up nervousness of all the past years, but it didn't feel like – I felt like we were losing it. I truly did.
But yeah, the only other thing I have to really recap from that game is our outside linebackers, Uchenna and Cody Barn, continue to really impress. Uchenna was getting a lot of good pressure still. Barton was making some good plays.
Who's number 99? Big guy. God,
I
believe
that's.
Over the field.
I think it's Al Woods, Big Al Woods.
Yeah,
So,
he was.
Yeah.
I remember. I just felt like he was every good play your defense made. I saw him getting up from the tackle. Basically, it was crazy.
Yeah. Really, our inside linebacker play, Jordan Brooks, he's got to start stepping it up because that's where a lot of sloppy tackling is coming in. Because the defensive line, I noticed they're getting the push in and like they're stalling the run plays, but then the running backs are finding those creases and breaking through the second level. So our linebackers got to start cleaning up their tackling there. I think that's really the biggest issue.
Yeah, it's not just a little bit I noticed. It's not like even the tackling, while not great, wasn't terrible. I thought it was they're more like reacting more than going for it, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It just seems like they're a little slow on this second level.
However, though, the red zone defense still seems to be elite because there were some good red zone stops. So
unbelievable.
Yeah,
that was on my notes for besides special teams, just like last year, terrible as usual.
Yep.
And blocked field goal for a touchdown. But our red zone offense has been bad for years now. It's very frustrating, and it continues this year, and it was just terrible in that game.
Yeah. But that's pretty much all I have to recap from that game. Do you have anything else you want to recap?
I mean, for the most part, our defense played pretty well, I would say. Obviously, they didn't give up a point other than the blocked field goal for a touchdown, which isn't on them. I had red zone offense as a problem, as it always is, as is special teams. I think our safeties, I'm so impressed with the safety play.
Yeah, what's his name? What's that guy?
Talanoa Hufanga.
He's impressive.
Yeah. At the beginning of last year, he was my draft steal. I said that in one of our videos, and he's
watching him, he looks a little bit like a Jamal Adams, honestly.
He is literally all over the field. Yeah. It's crazy. He's in every play. He makes no mistakes. He's nuts. He's really good, and we don't even have Jimmy Ward back yet. He's going to be here week 5, but the safety play has been great because this guy we signed, Tashawn Gibson, has also been awesome. So when Jimmy Ward gets back, we got depth for days in that safety spot. And I noticed that Nick Bosa was all over the place as usual. He's really good. And Jimmy G, while a little rusty, thought he played okay. Definitely a fine game to get thrust in after not playing a game since the NFC Championship game and having off-season surgery and really not having any live practice the entire off-season for the most part, especially against other teams. So I would say it's an all in all decent game, and we finally got the one monkey off our backs, and now this week, hopefully.
I was going to say you proved that. I guess you own the Seahawks when Russ Wilson's not around, but now you see if you can get this monkey off. Real quick though, before you transition to that, I just realized something. It's funny because a few years back, when the Jimmy Garoppolo era started, it was the Seahawks who caused that to happen. When I forgot who got injured in the game, but we knocked out. Was it Mullins at the time?
Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer knocked him out, and then Jimmy Garoppolo came in, and
he threw a touchdown his very first pass.
Yeah, and then now this game, we knock out Trey Lance, and we keep the Jimmy Garoppolo era going. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I remember that play. Now it was he. I don't know if his very first play was a pass. I think he might have had a scramble his very first play, but then his very first pass, probably his second play, was a touchdown to I believe Trent Taylor in the left corner of the end zone, and
to bring it to within like 2 scores with 20 seconds left.
Yeah, I just remember it like it was yesterday because I was little young Marcus was so excited for the future at that time, and I loved just the Jimmy Garoppolo era. I was so ready for it to start, and now I'm almost. It's not like I'm ready for it to be over. I love Jimmy Garoppolo, I do, but I was just ready to turn the page, take the lumps, whatever that was, and just develop this new quarterback. And now here we are. We'll run it back.
Well, run it back continues with week 3. What are your keys for facing your favorite guy?
Yeah, here we go. Russell Wilson, part 17. I don't know how many times we played him. A lot. It's more than 17, I'm sure. But yeah, we get It's kind of odd how just like the NFL schedule, how we've talked, you can't make this stuff up sometimes. But we play the Seahawks one week and Russell Wilson the week after that. It's weird how these things happen.
Yeah.
It's we'll find out if it was the Seahawks that owned us and we're crossing those demons off, or if it's just Russell Wilson that just owns us, which I'm pretty sure is part of it. And I'm not happy to face him, but I am happy to hopefully get this out of the way and maybe get a victory. And he hasn't looked great the first 2 games, so maybe we can go in there and take it. And, I guess my keys were just got to stop Russell Wilson somehow. I don't know how it's possible.
It's pretty possible right now.
Yeah, true, but it's still, he's against the 49ers. He's like the boogeyman to me. He's like this all-encompassing mystery that I have no idea what to do or how to stop. And we've tried everything, and nothing ever works. We've had extreme pressure, and he's wiggled out of it at the last minute for ridiculous touchdowns. It's just, I don't know what to do. So my one key, or my main key is to stop or slow Russell Wilson from dominating us. And I would like to tell you some keys to how to do that, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Sounds super confident, I know.
Yeah.
And I guess if I had to give a couple more, I think George Kittle is going to be back. He did practice today, so that's huge for the blocking game, and we're going to need to definitely control the clock. That's the 49ers football, so we gotta run, and lost another running back this week. What's new? So We're down to Jeff Wilson Jr. still will be the starter, and then backup will be my dude Jordan Mason, who all preseason I hyped him up and wanted him to make the roster over Trey Sermon, and he did, and now he's going to be the backup. And 49ers backups get roughly as many touches as their starters, so I expect both him and Wilson Jr. to have right at about 12 to 15 carries each. So
yeah, I got to ask, is your running back room built over like a native burial site or something?
I don't know. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just like my friend who we talk about the 49ers all the time, he forwarded that to me a day ago, and I'm like, it's almost like I'm numb to it. It sucks, but Ty Davis-Price had 1 week as our backup, our rookie running back. It didn't even look bad. And
if I was a running back, I'd want to stay as far away from San Francisco as possible, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know what to do about that, but so my first key would be the Russell Wilson thing. Second key would be we got to run the ball. And my third key would be clean up special teams and penalties. And special teams did not clean up last week. Penalties we kind of did from week 1. Week 1 was terrible. Week 2, not so bad. Definitely can't have those penalties shooting ourselves in the foot. That seems to be a killer for us in every game we lose. So I can just tell if the first half is full of penalties on us and we're extending drives with stupid penalties by the defensive backs, then that's always an omen that we're going to lose the game. So, stop Russell Wilson, run the ball, and clean up Jeez, I was going to say special teams and penalties in one word. So clean those things up.
Yeah.
Those are my keys.
All right. Well, Seahawks this week got the Falcons coming to town. I'd say the Falcons probably the first couple games have played a little bit better than probably anticipated.
Sure.
But still, I don't see this as a game the Seahawks can lose. They shouldn't lose this game.
That's true.
So, I mean, my keys, I'd say first and foremost, we haven't really done too much of this outside the Denver game, makes you say. Create turnovers. I want to start seeing some more turnovers. Mariota's a prime quarterback to get some interceptions off of. So, force him into some pressure, make him uncomfortable, and let's start seeing some interceptions as well. So, create those turnovers. My next key would be play with intensity. I feel like, too, part of the problem this past week was I think they just came out flat and that kind of lagged throughout the entire game. There just didn't seem to be that intensity. I get it. Obviously, the circumstances were different from week 1 to week 2, but week 1 they had like immense intensity for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But carry who cares if it's Russell Wilson or not on the other sideline? Still, just carry that intensity throughout every game. As Pete likes to say, every game's a championship opportunity. So keep that intensity up and play with that intensity. And then my third, I kind of have a 3A and a 3B because I just read about this today, something that Pete Carroll wants to do this week, starting this week apparently, that he was going to hold off for 3 to 4 weeks, I guess, so treating him like he's a rookie, I guess it sounds like. But 3A would be start fast, kind of like we did against Denver, get the offense going early. I talked about this a little bit the last couple of years. I've mentioned this before. Instead of running to set up the pass to set up the run. Like start fast, get out early, And once you get that lead, then you can start building the run to chew the clock down and all that. So that's going to go right into 3B here, which apparently is going to happen this week, I guess. So I'm really curious to see what this exactly means and what this is going to look like. I think this is going to be a little bit of a FU to Russell Wilson, too. Pete Carroll says that he wants to unleash Geno Smith this week, open up the playbook completely. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but I like the sound of it. If we get like Geno throwing 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, that's going to be something. So yeah.
Let him cook.
Not let him cook. The term was unleash him. So like out here, we have our hockey team, the Kraken, unleashed the Kraken. Well, sounds like this week we're going to unleash the Geno. So
all right.
Yeah. So
okay.
that's key 3. That's key 3B. Unleash the Geno. So we'll see what that means, and yeah, that should be fun. So. Yep. Real quick before we get to our picks for this week, update on Pooch picks. First off, Henry, congratulations!
Hey, he's alive.
He got a W, his 4th W in 2 years. So,
and if you remember, that was the one that we had some controversy on the video.
No, that was with the Broncos one, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
well, dang, that he could be 2-0.
Yeah,
That's too
yeah.
bad.
If you would have just kept it quiet, it could have been 2-0.
Man. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, well, at least he finally got off the schneid.
Yeah, so we got Diogi at 2-0 since he correctly picked the Niners, and he's picking the Buccaneers this week. This week's game is the Buccaneers-Packers. Yep. Drake at 1-1 picking the Packers this week, and then Henry at 1-1 picking the Buccaneers. So
it could be. I thought I got Henry picking the Packers, and I got him picking Tampa week 4.
I guess I'll have to go back and rewatch that thing because
that's fine. I mean, I just wrote down what I had on a scratch paper.
Okay.
So yeah,
I will go back and I will get in touch with New York and review the film there. So
trust me, I want him. I wish he would pick Tampa this week and
so
maybe Casey next week. But I think he's got it.
We'll call this a star next to it, a question mark. I think it's the Bucks, but I'll go back and review the film. So yeah,
that's
we'll find
totally
out.
Fine. Yeah, I will defer to you. He's.
Yep.
Whatever I want him to do doesn't ever work anyway.
That sounds about right. All right, so let's get to our picks this week. So let's start off with a lock. What do you got for the lock?
Oh, the almighty lock. And I'm going to go with the Chargers, even with the broken ribs or whatever kind of ribs he's got, over the Jaguars by 6.
All right, so congratulations to the Jaguars on their win this week.
Yes, exactly. The Jaguars are leading the division right now, so This would be a nice win for them.
Don't tell Tom that. All right, my lock, I had one, but then I switched it, and I've kind of been going back and forth on this, but I know I'm picking this team 2 weeks in a row, but I mean, yeah, whatever. I'm going with the Rams over the Cardinals by 8. Ooh. I know it's a divisional game; those are kind of unpredictable. But the Rams have kind of owned the Cardinals, and I think the Rams. I think the Rams should have this one. The Cardinals, outside of like 15 to 20 minutes of football this year so far, the Cardinals have looked absolutely awful. So
true. It's a shame.
Yeah, such a shame. All right, so your upsets. This one, yeah.
Well, yes, my upset here is a little bit strategic, even though I don't know if it's going to happen. But you never know with upsets. I'm going Falcons over Seahawks by 2.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a cheap one because the Seahawks always play close games, so you're getting at least 1 point out of this.
Well, that's part of my strategy as well.
All right, my upset. This is a spicy one. I feel like this might be my first real spicy upset this year. Although Giants over Titans probably was spicy too, but this one is ghost pepper spice, I think. So I am taking because their linebacker is back this week, because it's a desperation game for them, and they have a lot to lose if they lose this game. I'm taking the Colts over the Chiefs by 3. I do think
this is nuts.
The Chiefs do have some struggles in Indianapolis sometimes, so.
It's true.
I got a feeling about this one, so I think the Colts are gonna take this one to the Chiefs and shock some people. So,
wow, Tom would love this.
Yeah, he would. So, congratulations, Tom. Usually my upsets are right. So
he gets mentioned more than.
Yeah, that's like a 5 or 6 week streak now.
Wow, he's a very popular watcher.
Number 1 fan. Number 1 and only fan.
Yeah, we'll get to 2 sooner or later.
Sooner, yep. All right, your random game. I don't know if maybe you were preparing for this, but I might have called an audible on you. I think I told you maybe one thing that gave you an idea, but I'm going another way. So Cowboys, Giants.
Oh.
Cooper Rush. The Cooper Rush Cowboys look pretty good.
I wasn't thinking about this one at all. Oh. Okay. Wow. So, I mean, okay. Cowboys, Giants. Will the Giants go 3-0 is what I need to bet on here. Where are they playing?
In New York.
Oh, God. I cannot believe that my lock last week, the Cowboys beat them, but I'm going with you on this one. Your boys in New York. I'm going Giants over Cowboys.
By what? By 1?
Oh yes, that's pretty much how I always do my upsets or my randoms.
So, Giants by 1.
Yes.
That's a bummer. I thought you were going to pick the Cowboys. So that's a bummer.
I mean, I want to really badly. I can't see Cooper Rush winning another game in a row. But like I said,
hey, you can switch if you want. You still got time. You got time before the end of the video. So
yeah, I'm going to keep thinking about it. But right now, I'm going Giants by 1.
All right. What's mine?
I doubt you were expecting this one, but I got Raiders at Titans.
Couple of 0-2 teams.
Yeah.
Where's this one at? Oh, it's at Titans, you said?
This is at Tennessee, yep. It's looked very, very awful. In fact, I don't even know who I'd pick in this one. That's why I'm giving this one to you, because I think it's pretty difficult.
I don't like the Titans' pass defense, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I'm going to go Raiders. Raiders by 1.
Okay. Yeah, I think this year we have a little different strategy on these random games.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right, so now for the hometown teams. Who are you taking?
Well, I'm going 49ers by 1 over Denver.
Going to get the Russell monkey off their back?
Yeah, I'm doing that, and the only reason I'm doing it is because Denver just hasn't looked great the first 2 weeks, and not that I expected them to look great, but I expect them to look a little bit better than they have.
Yeah,
and
sure.
This means nothing because Russell Wilson will probably have one of the top 10 games of his career, and most of them, probably half of them against the 49ers. So here's just another one to add to his list. I'm in no way confident, but I said last week if the Niners lost to the Seahawks, I would start picking with my brain. I'm going to continue picking with my heart on this one for a little bit longer. 49ers by 1.
All right, and I am taking the Seahawks by 4. There's no way they should lose this game, especially if they unleashed a Geno. So.
Well, an unleashed Geno is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, clearly.
Hey, I told you last October he's better than Russell Wilson, and he's 1-0 against him.
I know. I've reminded you of that many times.
All right, so just real quick, go over our picks again. So you got Chargers by 6, I got Rams by 8 as our locks. Falcons by 1 for you as the upsets. Colts by 3 over the Chiefs for me. Random, you're taking the Giants over the Cowboys, although you're going to change it to Cowboys here soon, I'm sure. Raiders by 1 is mine, and then our hometown teams, you're taking the Niners, and I'm taking the Seahawks. So a couple of homer guys here. So.
There we go, yep.
All right, well, before we get into...
I've already decided I'm not changing it. I'm just sticking with the Giants. So
that's
continue on.
Congratulations on your victory.
Right.
All right, we've got to make our weekly fantasy football pit stop. Congratulations, you got your first stub this year, so you avoided that dreaded 0-2 start. So
yeah, and I didn't really have a good week, so I believe it must be your wife's brother who I beat. It must have had even worse.
Yeah, my brother-in-law. Yep. So, and your top performers were Mark Andrews and the San Francisco defense. So yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Mark Andrews had a great game, obviously, but besides that, my team laid an egg, and I still somehow won. Yeah. So there you go.
And then I started 2-0, I think, for like the 5th straight year. Got my brother-in-law up next. He's 1-1, so that'll be interesting. My top performers, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle. That was fun. Just required him this week. Jeez. So Jalen Waddle. And then the Tampa Bay defense gave me 31 points, which oddly enough is actually the second most points a defense has gotten me in fantasy. Because a couple years ago, 2019, you remember that Patriots defense 2019?
I do. They scored buco points.
Yeah, there was one game, they got me 45 points in one game. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, that was
I
fun.
Remember a couple of my friends in my other leagues that had them, and it just they were just nuts. They were like one of the better performers of even players.
Yeah, they were. I think they finished like top 5 fantasy. Period.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So yeah, that was fun. So we'll see what happens this week. Now, college football, a quick little college football bit we thrown in here. Do you even want to say anything about the Huskers?
No, I mean, it is what it is. We lost by a lot to Oklahoma.
Hey, you were competitive for a quarter, so.
It's true. In fact, that was almost bad that we scored first and we're up 7-0 because we held them, then we scored and we're up 7-0. I'm just like, oh, maybe we got a shot in this thing. Even though going into the game, I knew we didn't have a shot. But I think we'll see at least a few legit things of the new Mickey Joseph era in this next game, which we have a bye week this week. It's just he wasn't going to change anything midway through the week against Oklahoma after Scott Frost gets fired. That's just there's not enough time to really do much. But he's already fired our defensive coordinator, so there's that. So there you go. He's doing stuff now, and I think it's Indiana. We play in 2 weeks, so maybe I'll talk about that next week. But I think. Yes, we might see some actual changes if he's capable of it, that is, if he's really a decent coach. Then maybe we'll see some stuff in a couple weeks.
So a week off this week?
Yes, and gratefully. I'm very thankful of it.
All right, well, the Washington Huskies are officially back.
So back.
I think you watched on the game, didn't you? So, you can...
I watched almost the entire thing.
So, hey, I'm not the only one here, going on about... Or Penix out here. You can.
No.
you can.
I really like Penix.
Yeah, Penix is awesome. Penix is great. So.
And I texted you after the second drive saying if he keeps this up for the next 9 games, he has a chance to win the Heisman, and I completely believe that.
Well, hey, he's
not like a joke.
In the Heisman rankings, he's right above Hooker. So Penix right above Hooker. So.
Oh, Penix and Hooker, nice.
Yep. Just make it too easy for us. So Penix, he was 397 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 91.9 QBR. Apparently, I guess in his history, he's played Michigan State. He always knows Michigan State, so that was good for us too. Freshman receiver Jalen Polk had 6 receptions, 153 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So that Penix Polk connection was really, really solid on Saturday night.
What's another quick question? What is his year in school, Penix?
I think he's a senior.
Oh,
because I know he
can't come back next year.
I don't think so, but that's fine because we have Heward coming in next year. So
I was hoping that with the new college football game next year for PlayStation 5 that I could play with Penix.
Well, he's going to be on the cover, so.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You get a nice picture of Penix on the cover.
A Penix pick.
A Penix pick, yes. Sophomore Jalen McMillan, receiver, had 7 receptions for 94 yards as well. So really, our receiving core is looking pretty good for the next couple of years. With Heward coming in next year, it's looking. This might actually give the Dante Pettis, John Ross duo a run for the money from a couple years ago. It's a really solid receiving core coming up. So.
Yeah.
They beat Michigan State 39-28, and now they are ranked number 18. One better than I thought. I was predicting 19 after the game, but 18, I'll take that too. So, got Stanford. Got Stanford coming up next. So that should be a win, but this could be considered a trap because usually wins like that and getting in the rankings, that can sometimes be a trap. So hopefully they still come out there with intensity and get the job done. So hopefully Penix comes out and continues to stretch the field and fitting in those tight windows.
Yeah, I'm very upset that I didn't write down that quote that Robert Griffin III had about Penix.
He really knows how to fit it in there, wasn't that it?
Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, he said Penix really knows how to fit it in there like he's been there before. Yes.
I'm going to have to click on the "This is not for children" option this week.
Put the NSFW, not safe for work.
Nope. So like I said, Huskies are back. That's great. So hopefully they keep it going.
Yeah.
All right.
Huskers not back.
Got a little ways to go. Well, real quick, little programming notes. We have some kind of schedule things up next week that we're not usually we record these on Wednesday evenings. I get them uploaded on Wednesday evenings. Next week, I don't think we're going to get it out on Wednesday. We might not be till after the Thursday game. So it might be a little bit later. I'm sorry to our Tom and one other fan out there. but we'll probably be a little bit later. I'm gonna hopefully we can get it Friday or Saturday, but I'm just expected to be a little bit later. So just some scheduling.
You got something coming up next week or what?
Yeah, I got. Hopefully the Mariners are still in the playoff race. So
yeah, that would be nice. That would be ideal.
Yeah, but yeah, just got some things. Got some friends coming out. So got some schedule issues up here. So
interesting.
Yep, some internet friends coming out. So. Yep. Anyways, leaving with that suspense there.
Oh yeah, very suspenseful.
Yeah. So expect Rival Talk a little bit later next week, and that's all we got for week 3 this week. I believe. Got anything else to add?
No, not really. I'd say we've gone off without a hitch this season so far in the old Rival Talk. So after our preseason jitters.
Yeah, you got those kinks worked out in the preseason. So.
I did.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for watching. Please like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and Warriors Den, let's ride.